How's it going?
That was really high pitched.
Hey guys!
That was way too high pitched.
What's happened to you?
Don't know.
Wait,
Lost
the
my
balls
balls.
just dropped.
Hey guys.
Guys, we got a new camera. Hello. You can maybe see us a little better. In all our glory.
I really want to do that, that road trip thing. Where he's like, have you seen Road Trip?
Yeah.
And it's got, what's the dude from Freddy Got Fingered in? The
Yeah,
really
yeah.
unfunny comedian.
Yes.
And right at the start, the guy was like filming the videos for his girlfriend. And he's like, "Hey,
Oh yeah, I remember.
hey, I'm on TV. Hey guys." Sorry, that was.
He's so creepy. That
was
dude.
ridiculous.
What
So
do you think of the shirt?
yeah, I was about to say, I got one question.
What do you think, guys?
Did you
Badass.
watch High Fidelity before you bought that?
No, mate gave this to me.
It's very John Cusack.
It is, isn't it?
Very John Cusack
What, John Cusack in that film?
in High Fidelity. Not in real life. I think he just dresses in shirts.
Maybe like leather jackets a lot. I imagine. I imagine he's a bit like Nick Cage, where he's trying to stay trendy, but he's not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
This has been a great way to start a podcast. So, dude, I can't believe I'm having to say this.
What?
But the coronavirus has affected everything, even movies. I'm so fucking pissed off.
No. What's it affecting now? Did
So,
it stop production or something?
yeah.
No.
So, next month,
Yeah.
we were meant to be seeing the big release
Oh.
the new James Bond movie.
Oh, you're kidding me. They are finding any excuse to delay that film.
And they've now delayed it.
Are you
Get this,
kidding me?
get how long they've delayed it for.
No, don't say 2
Till
years.
November.
Oh, it's still 6 damn months.
Till November.
Damn.
Now, I've got two trains of thought on this.
What's your thoughts?
So what they've come out and said is they aren't going. They're not happy releasing the movie in the current climate because obviously they're worried about people and infections and that kind of bullshit.
It sounds like an excuse.
That's what they've said. Now, I'm of the thinking something's not right with this movie.
Yeah. Something is definitely.
Something's not right.
Like there's someone stood within the production team who just keeps going. It's still not right, guys.
Something's not right with this movie.
Like, the vision.
Yeah.
Isn't
something. I think
yeah.
something's truly gone awry with this movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've been. How long has it been taking them to make it?
It was
there was all this
talk
talk
like 3 years ago. Wasn't
Yeah, it was all this talk of like Daniel Craig not wanting to do it.
Yeah.
There's problems with the studio and stuff like that, and now obviously it's literally meant to be coming out in a month.
It's all been filmed. Yeah.
And they've turned around and said, actually no.
The coronavirus.
The coronavirus means that we can't release
We
it
can't
until
release-
November.
That's
So does that mean
bullshit.
does that mean that every movie that studio would bring out is not going to come out now?
Let's check. Let's see what happens with their other movies.
But I mean, it's
I wanna hear
literally bullshit. I would please tell me your thoughts on this because
Yeah.
I'm definitely a big conspiracy nut and I'm not happy with this at all. I'm really fucking annoyed.
We were
I did,
talking about
like-
this, weren't we?
I was happy, I'm not overly happy with the direction of the movie, but I want to see what happens. But just to kind of blame it on the coronavirus
Come
is
on.
bullshit.
It's absolutely. I mean, it's in post production. What is it that they're worried people aren't going to see it? Like physically get out and see it.
I'm not sure. Maybe it's the case if they're trying to be, generous to their health and safety and the welfare of people, and they don't want people going out rushing out and blah blah blah. But maybe they are kind of watching their own money, and maybe they're thinking, are a lot of people going to go out and see this? We are targeting a older fan base, and historically the older generation of people.
What, we're getting Billie Eilish on the soundtrack? They're not really.
How long's James Bond been a thing for?
Okay, older people will see it, I know.
Older
but
people
they're
will go and
also
see
going to
it.
target younger people. That's
Yeah, granted, they're going to target, lots of other demos,
Yeah.
but one of their key demos that they really like is
Yeah.
got to be like the over 50s because it's been around for so long. And people
yeah.
have grown up with James Bond in their life, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Would they lose that whole audience? Because
Because they're dead.
no, you fucking idiot. Would they lose that whole audience because I don't want to go out, I've got to stay inside because of the coronavirus.
Got a little bit of
I'm gonna die.
We were talking about coronavirus yesterday, weren't we? Just the the massive media hype that's going on with it. It's crazy.
I'm so sick and fucking tired about it, honestly.
People have closed down their schools. There's 50 schools closed this week because 50 people in the whole of the UK have it.
Dude, that number's actually shot up today.
Is it 55?
It's 80.
Jesus, okay, that's... Okay. Well, they're just discovering it.
We are going to eat our words. I love
We
it.
totally are.
It's literally going to happen.
If all films just stop coming out now and we're like, oh, they were onto something.
What would we talk about?
What would we do? You guys would just get like some really boring podcast. Not that they're not already. We know how much you're loving these.
You're really selling yourself short right now. I'm not going to lie. So that was some crappy news that came out today. I'm really not fucking happy with it. Some good news we had.
Let us know if you've got coronavirus and it's been affected.
Oh mate, shut up. Don't listen to this fucking idiot with stupid shirt. So
it's a lovely shirt. Fuck off. It's a good shirt, right, guy?
The other news that we had come out. So obviously next month. This month. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We should be having Disney Plus in the UK.
Ooh.
And there was this whole massive palaver when they announced what was going to be coming onto Disney Plus in the UK.
Yeah.
That we weren't going to get The Simpsons.
Aww.
Now they've confirmed that The Simpsons is going to be on Disney Plus in the UK.
Yes. Well, all of the series.
I don't think it's every season because they've still got a contract with Sky.
Okay.
So Sky in the UK still show the newest episodes as they come out. I'm pretty sure they've still got a contract with them, so
that makes sense.
It won't be like the newest ones, but who gives a shit? The newest episodes are crap.
That's so true.
I want the first, 10
series,
10 12 seasons. That's all I want to watch. I want to watch that back to back, every single episode.
This is literally what I found Nathan doing when he came over today.
Love it. What's wrong with
You're
The
a big
Simpsons?
Simpsons fan.
Love it.
Do you know what? Watching
The
The Simpsons over dinner was like just the perfect way to do it.
Yeah, that was the thing that you did when you were a kid, wasn't it?
Just be chuckling away eating your dinner.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It used to be on BBC Two at 6 p.m.
I remember that. Yep. 6 p.m. every night. Yep.
And now they've moved it to Channel 4.
But now, if you're a Disney Plus customer,
now if you're a Disney Plus, you can watch that shit whenever you
I'll
want.
be honest, I'm not going to be getting Disney.
You're not going to get it?
Nah.
They made a whole massive promotional thing.
Not for me.
Made a whole massive promotional thing about this.
What was the promotion?
So it's meant to be $59.99 a month.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh look, Thanos has snapped his fingers, and we've got you at a better price." It's $49.99 for the year.
Amazing.
As opposed to $59.99 for the year.
It's not like
it's £10.
Well done, guys. Well done.
It's £10. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was like £20 for the year.
Exactly.
Fuck yeah, I'd sign up for that.
Nice. Okay, good choice.
But yeah, I think it's going to be like £5 or £6 a month.
Yeah, because you told me that they've got the Star Wars.
Yeah, they're going to have Star Wars movies on there, Marvel movies on there. They're going to have Simpsons, which is obviously quite a big thing.
Yeah.
They're going to have original content, so they've got the Mandalorian season 1.
Mandalorian
season 2 is coming out in October, I believe.
Yeah. Not fussed.
You're not fussed?
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
Oh, but you're gone with Star Wars, aren't you?
I kind of am.
You got pissed off after, what was it, 7 or 8?
I think it was before 7.
But it was the fact that they were doing like a new trilogy.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
Yeah. I just got a little bit kind of, I think, overwhelmed by the fact it's like, oh, we're going to do 3 trilogies now, and it's the very same kind of family origin, same kind of storyline, how it is. Anyway.
But yeah, so I'm quite happy that, Simpsons and Disney Plus, bring it. Inject that shit straight into my eyeballs. I'm going to be watching Simpsons every day.
Speaking of injecting, I watched Trainspotting 2 the other day.
I'll tell you what, we've got links for days. We've got links for days. I love that. That's brilliant.
These segues, they come thick and fast. You've got to catch them.
So, Trainspotting 2, is that the first time you've seen it?
It is indeed. It was one of those where I've put off watching it. I don't think I was ecstatic about watching it because it kind of, I guess it came across as an afterthought, right? Like it came across as, well, we might as well do another Trainspotting.
I think
however long.
I think another book was written.
Mm.
I think that there was a second book written.
This becomes very apparent when I watched it. Actually, it was very essential to be made. Actually, it was really conclusive. All the character storylines, all the loose ends came together.
I like
really
the
good.
fact that I think I only saw it once when it came out in the cinema, but I
Yeah.
liked the fact that you had gone from venturing around with these characters in their late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
And they're fucking scumbags. Like, they're the people that you'd see on the streets and you'd
Yeah.
cross the road because you don't
Big.
want to go near them and stuff
Just-
like that. Like,
Just
ugh.
like beating people up, like doing.
It's not even that,
unnecessary
when you've got the junkies and stuff,
Yeah.
you don't want to go near junkies.
Cool.
But I think seeing them in another environment, in the big world as survivors,
Yeah.
from that kind of that era, I really enjoyed
It
that.
was so interesting.
Yeah, I really like
And
that.
from the first scene where you just see Rent Boy on the treadmill, and you're just like, oh, he's actually looking all right. He's doing well.
This is not what I imagined for him.
Do you know, there were some great scenes with Ewan McGregor and what's his name, Johnny something. Anyway, you know what I mean.
Johnny something.
The blonde one. Just like them being really good friends. They're both fantastic actors. I enjoyed that. They were doing the whole sort of like into George Best and doing the whole like running through the football commentary and everything. I loved that. But yeah, I think it was a good thing this was made, but it didn't feel like a Trainspotting film in a way. I think it had a completely different vibe, even though they tried to make it like dark and twisted, and there was always horrible things happening to them, like some really dark humour in there and graphic content in that film. Right?
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
My favourite film that is like Trainspotting, that's not Trainspotting, is Filth.
Yes,
You ever see that?
James
With
McAvoy.
James McAvoy.
Yes.
So fucking brilliant.
It was amazing. Yeah.
I went in there with no thoughts, no thoughts played my mind about the movie. I just went in there. I hadn't read any reviews or anything about it. I went in there. I was just like, oh Jesus,
Yeah.
there's a lot in there.
A lot
Like,
going
and
on.
it's
The
a
acting
lot.
is incredible.
Yeah.
I thought.
And what is it? Is it he's got a tapeworm or something in it?
Oh God, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I think we should do a rewatch of that.
Let's do a rewatch and then we'll properly review it.
I'm so keen on that.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
really, really enjoyed that film.
Good call. Oh, also, I've got through like half of it. Uncut Gems.
Oh mate, come
Can
on.
we like properly destroy that film because everybody's
You're killing
banging
me.
on about it. Tom was banging on about it when he was on the podcast.
Yeah, Tom, I hope you're listening. That film still
Tom,
sucks.
mate, didn't enjoy much of it so far. We got an hour through and it's really crass. Like there's a lot of Adam Sandler just being like a bit of a bastard. Everybody in it is like a dislikable character. There's all this like people screwing each other over in a New Yorker way. I just got like already I'm like I could do without seeing the rest of this.
Just
Someone
only
said to me, they were like, "You've got to watch it. The Weeknd's in it," and I was like, "That's interesting, I guess."
my only advice would be watch it till the end, because I think you'll get a real joy from the last sort of 5 minutes of the movie.
Because it's ending.
No, not because it's ending. Like it genuinely does have a really, really good ending.
Okay.
Honestly, you need to watch that.
I will, and then we'll review it.
Even if you skip the rest of the movie, watch it.
Space.
Watch it on fast forward,
Yeah.
and then just skip to the ending.
Uh-huh.
Watch the ending, the last 5-10 minutes in full,
Okay.
and you'll really enjoy it.
Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna give it a go. Anyway, have you been listening to anything this week?
Let's see, a little bit actually.
Yeah.
And I was actually going to pose you a question. I've been listening to
Metallica.
No. I've been listening to some new stuff from bands that used to do different stuff.
Expand.
So I've been listening to bands that have basically changed their sound quite a lot since they were first bands.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Give me an example.
Bring Me the Horizon.
Okay.
So they brought out their new album. I don't know, sometime last year I think it was.
Oh, is that the one with Mantra on it?
Yeah.
Mantra.
Yeah.
That was
So yeah, it's they've really changed their sound. They've gone super poppy, bit sort of I don't know how would you describe tech.
It's got some electronic stuff in it.
electro.
Yeah.
They've gone really poppy. A bit more electro and stuff in there.
Yeah.
I was just and then So I listened to them, and then I think I listened to some new like Panic at the Disco stuff, or as new as you can get with Panic at the Disco without them covering fucking stupid movie songs.
So which Panic at the Disco were you listening to? The most recent or quite recent? Okay.
That one.
Good.
So that album. But my point. Okay, so the point I was trying to get to was, have you had many bands where you maybe you have or you haven't liked them when they first started out, and their music's been one kind of genre, and then you're up to the 2020s, and they brought out some music and you've got a real strong feeling towards it, positive or negative, and it's completely fucking different.
Definitely, yeah. Well, I think a really good example is one you just gave, which was Bring On The Horizon. I didn't like their old stuff, and I really liked the one with the umbrella on it. Oh, That's the Spirit. That's what it was called. That was a great album.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
I actually really liked that. It was still a heavy album. That was the thing. Like they had gone from super heavy to kind of like manageable heavy for me. You know, like from my perspective, that was perfect. Right on the nose. Unit 6, I've personally completely lost the
will to live.
Yeah, exactly. Like
but then would you say that with them that's more a case of that was kind of spirit of the time? Because for those of you that wouldn't know, we listened to Unit 6 when we were probably about 15, 16, if not younger. Because they were an up and coming band in the town that we live, so we got to see them however many times for probably about £3-4.
Yeah. Maybe
slightly more. Like
5 or 6 times.
Yeah, I've seen them quite a few times.
It's like pop punk music, isn't it? Or was back then. It was kind of heavy pop, really.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Can we just? It's emo. It was emo.
It was emo music.
Paramore.
Yep.
Unit 6.
Yep.
All Time Low. Like that was emo for me. But MCR. Like, honestly, that kind of stuff that we listened to when we were about 14, 15, it was all emo.
Oh, I was going to say Death of Havana. That was another one where I really enjoyed their stuff. Like, that last album they did, Rituals, unbelievably good album. Unbelievable. It was, I really enjoyed that. So, and they've done the same thing as Bring On The Horizon of going from, like, I think they just lost the singer with the, like, screaming vocals. Maybe he didn't want to do it, but their new stuff is still really good. Good tune.
So, are there any bands where you've really, really liked them from the start, and then they brought out new stuff, and it's like, oh my god, this is god awful?
It's anywhere it feels like a forced reunion. Like I'm thinking, Busted. They got an dude.
When they did,
why would you do that?
Busted. No,
they came back together last year, and they did Reunion, the album.
Oh.
Yeah, and. There's even one where it's got like you clearly got Charlie going like, I want something heavy that I can get my teeth into. Please give me a chorus.
Oh yeah, but you bummed Firestar, didn't you? So
I loved Firestar, but yeah, dude. Even with that, even having that like heavy part, they lost it. They've just lost it. It's like a lot of it is naff.
Well, they only had one album, didn't they? Like that was it.
They had a couple of very good albums, very good pop albums back in the day. I just think
What was it? They had Present for Everyone, and that was it. That was their big one.
And Busted, the self-titled album.
No, but the Present for Everyone had like Air Hostess, Crash the Wedding.
Yeah.
What I Go to School For.
Who's David?
3 a.m. Like that's it. Those 4 songs that I just named.
Yeah.
That's their biggest 4 songs.
What I Go to School For. That's what.
And Year 3000.
Year 3000. They're both on the first album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now we're gonna go into a deep delve of Busted songs, dude. So
could you imagine? Jesus Christ!
It's just like a British boy band, isn't it? I think that's the best way to put it. I'm just thinking people don't know who Busted are.
You don't know who Busted are?
I went to Amsterdam. There's Canadian girls. We're all like, I was like, Busted and McFly. They were like, Hill. I was like, oh, I thought they were like big news. It's weird the way when you go out of the country you realise like so much of the British music that we like is not famous elsewhere.
Do you reckon Stormzy's big elsewhere?
Stormzy is big elsewhere.
Is
we
he?
know that, yeah. Like he gets so much publicity nowadays. It's going well for Stormzy. He's headlining, isn't he?
Do you think Lethal Bizzle was big back in the day?
No.
Was that just in England?
Yeah. Do you know he played in Woking at the Chameleon? That was his level.
Did he do Pow?
He did pow.
Pow.
Go to the beat for the pow. Oh dear.
I like Lethal Bizzle.
N-Dubs also were not big outside of the country.
No, they tried to make it in America, didn't they?
Yes,
It didn't work out. Yeah.
This is like a
It's
thing.
funny when bands do that.
I feel like if you try to, it's never a good thing, is it? Anyway, we're getting distracted.
So what have you been listening to? I've told you what I've been listening to.
So I had recommended to me, you know, Jim Morrison from The Doors.
Yep.
The Doors are a band that I've kind of like heard the main big tracks of like, this is the end. Like, there's these amazing kind of anthems, and Jim Morrison is obviously famous for being in the 27 Club, and I didn't realise they had like hidden depths to them. So there's this whole album of his, which I think is called, it will come to me. It's a whole album of his poetry, backed by The Doors, and it's actually like incredible. Like there's lots of like soundscapes on it. It's really ahead of his time, and he just got so much to say. Like I can understand why. It might be called The American Poet or An American Poet or something like that. But I can understand why he was such a figurehead of like that 60s movement and like the thought-provoking kind of hippie movement. It's really interesting. So I've been getting into that a lot.
Sounds very cool.
Yeah, no, it was cool. Other than that, I was listening to a guy called Jon Wayne. And Jon Wayne is like...
not the film star?
Not the film star. Just
wow,
goes by the same name.
Wow.
Jon, this guy.
Oh, right, okay. Not off the classic H spelling.
well spelt, yeah. He's like a really big dude. Check him out on YouTube. I'll link something. He's a producer, primarily. So he comes up with these like very, very niche little samples that he's getting from like jazz records, etc. Loops the beat, makes the beat himself, and then his rapping, dude, is something so original to it. He's got like this really deep voice, and his poetry is beautiful. It's really clever, and a lot of it's like quite self-deprecating. I think you can see that theme there with Mac Miller that I like.
If you had to sort of throw a genre onto that, what would you go for? Because with a name like Jon Wayne, I'd kind of expect something a bit countrified. But what you're describing is the sound.
It's modern. It's modern, like hip hop rap, stuff like that. I don't think you would like it, but I think.
Hey man, I'm open.
Try it. There's a couple of tracks I'll play. They're pretty cool.
I'll do it.
Yeah, have a go. But other than that, I'm trying to think what else has come out recently. I don't think I've been listening to much else. Yeah, that's about it. Just going for a bit of a Doors phase. I do like my 60s music. I love my 60s music.
Who doesn't?
Why'd you say it like that? Who doesn't? Lost.
You know, just trying to give that 60s vibe off. Hey.
Like Janis Joplin. Like a bit of Janis Joplin.
Okay.
You don't know who that is?
Dolly Parton?
No, that's not the same at all. Dolly Parton, would you say it's 60s? No, it's 80s. It's wave.
But Dolly Parton?
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's like 40s or something like that.
No, she's still alive.
Right?
Yeah.
That would make her 80.
Yeah. She didn't make music in the 40s, dude. I'm sure she didn't.
50s? Oh, I'm fucking...
I think it was like 80s.
No.
We need to check this.
Dolly Parton. Working 9 to... No, that's got to be like...
See? 9 to 5. That was...
That's got to be like a 50s or a 60s.
I'm going to say 80s. Okay, we'll check in a minute.
No. I want someone.
Someone let us know, please.
Someone tell me. I'll put a comment.
Our misery.
someone message us or comment on a video and just say when 9 to 5 came out. I need to know.
Did you see that meme, by the way, where it's got a bus that says Woking 925?
Yeah.
What a way to make a living. I think that took me so much longer than it should have.
You're an idiot.
Yes, I am.
So,
okay.
We've spoken about what you've been listening to.
So now,
what have you been watching?
The Netflix rundown. Okay, so I just watched Better Call Saul. There's a new series coming out. Have you been watching Better Call Saul?
Oh, dude, I lost patience with it. I suffered through the first season.
It was difficult.
I suffered so much through the first season.
Such a slow build to that.
So.
Okay, let me just say this really briefly. I know that probably not many people have stuck with it. Guys, it is getting to that point where it's quite close before Breaking Bad. So now you've got, what they've done really cleverly is they've introduced those characters that you know and love. very slowly throughout the series.
I know
Now we're
that
on
Gustavo's
series 5.
Gustavo's in it, isn't
Gustavo was introduced, I think, last series. So I think we're on series 5, and the last one was series 4 when he was introduced, and they had like this big reveal of him kind of standing in the shadows as he should be, and he has not disappointed. His character is staying very true to who he was in Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad. This is a spin-off of Breaking Bad. But Saul is very like we've just had the conception of Better Call Saul, of Saul Goodman. So he's now changed his name from Jimmy Wheel.
Yeah.
And now he's Saul Goodman. We've also just had Hank Schrader, is that his name?
Yeah, Hank Schrader.
He's now back in it with his partner. I can't remember his name, but yeah.
The Mexican guy.
Yeah.
No fucking way, that's really cool.
And you can see it coming, two coasts being mentioned. It's exciting, it's heating up.
The only thing I find with doing like a prequel series like that, especially so long after the original series is finished, do you find that when you have characters like Hank and Gustavo coming back into it, does it seem a bit strange for you? Because obviously they're going to be like a whole 10 years older. Like just the actors themselves.
It doesn't.
Does it feel...
Yeah, that's what they've done really cleverly, is that it feels very much like that same person. There's no difference in the actor. You know, we did say that about Jesse Pinkman in El Camino, was that it clearly wasn't Jesse that we knew from the series.
He
different. Didn't feel like himself, actually. Now I think about it, but also just the act of aging that well. But Hank looks exactly the same. You've got, just forgot his name, the bodyguard. The security guy, what's his name? Anyway, he's incredible.
But he's in it. He's in it from
the beginning, and he's like he's starting to lose his shit now. He's had enough. Gustavo doesn't feel like wrong in any way, but yeah, I'm enjoying that. So I'll be staying with it definitely. I think this might be the last one.
So when's the new season coming out?
So what they're just doing episode weekly. So we're on episode 3 of series 5 this week.
Oh right, okay.
Every Tuesday there's going to be a new episode. So
sweet.
Yeah,
well, hit me up and let me know what's
going on.
Goss. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, we maybe at some point we'll do like a Breaking Bad special where we go into Breaking Bad and El Camino and Better Call Saul.
Do like a rewatch.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Breaking Bad.
I love Breaking Bad. Still one of the best series ever made, I think.
100%.
I would still argue that Mr. Robot is a better series, honestly. Although the ending...
No.
I rewatched the ending. You know, I was raving about it.
Who the fuck's this guy?
They kind of dragged some of it out. And now I look back at it, I was like, I was just so in it that I didn't really realise, like, there's a couple of episodes at the very end of it where you're like, does this need to be happening? Do we need to see this? Anyway, I digress. So other than that, I saw a series called I Am Not Okay With This. Did you see it?
I finished it off in like a day.
It's so quick.
Too quick.
Why did they make such a...
I understand.
It was almost as if it feels like a pilot episode to something.
I feel like they had a really small idea.
Yeah.
And they just kind of rushed with it to get it out there. So it doesn't really feel like a whole series to me. It kind of feels like a half story, and they've kind of my presumption would be with it is they're trying it out to see whether people care about it before they go into a second season, because
and then maybe extend it a little.
Well, with the ending to the first season, I don't really feel like that had a big budget.
It wasn't. No, exactly.
Because they didn't really do much.
Yeah.
But now, with the ending of the first season,
dude.
you can do a lot more.
Yeah, they'll get the funding.
So maybe they didn't want to spend a lot in that first season.
I think this would be a hit, don't you?
So should we like proper?
Let's break it down. So I was going to say, I also think that they had a very clear vision of a stylized program, right? Because it feels like everything in it, you know, I suppose it has something to do with the fact that I think it's the producer of End of the Fucking World and the director of Stranger Things, or maybe vice versa. But you can feel like it's got that nice kind of 80s vibe that they use with Stranger Things. It's also just, I love that kind of small towny vibe that they got from End of the Effing World.
So how does that make you feel? Because I've got an opinion on that.
There was one thing I didn't like. You know, we talked about how important the soundtracks are, and actually, I kind of thought they went straight, clear down the middle of the road of 80s music. People seem to like that in Stranger Things and in etc.
Okay, here's where I'm at.
Go on.
I really enjoy Netflix seasons, especially something like that.
Yeah.
I like Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
The first season of 13 Reasons Why was great.
Yes, me too.
Sex Education, End of the Fucking World, you know, when they had that, I know it's a Channel 4 thing, but, you know, let's not get into it, it was on Netflix, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That was really great, and there's a couple of other school ones that I've seen that, are, you know, they are quite good, but I think they only had a season or maybe two.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure whether I'm starting to get bored of this genre now.
There's definitely getting to be too many of them.
There's too many of them, and the problem is they're getting quite samey now.
Yeah.
And this is what I said to you is I think they had a really good small idea.
Yeah.
And they've tried to expand it. I think they could have just made that into a Netflix movie.
Why doesn't it? Yeah, I agree. I think it should have been a movie. I don't think this needed to be a series.
So
from what we've seen, anyway.
My big problem with it was is it just kind of took a load of tropes from the different Netflix programs that are popular,
yes,
like Sex Education.
Uh-huh.
So the whole thing with Sex Education is you don't actually know what time period you're in because you've got a lot of things that are 80s, some things that are 90s,
you keep thinking that,
but they've all got laptops and mobile phones.
But at the same time, they've just definitely gone for this is a retro feel, and I think it is modern day. Right?
And then they've taken it is modern day because they're using mobile phones in it.
Right.
And then they've also taken that really from Stranger Things because everybody loves the whole retro feel of Stranger Things, which is actually set in the 80s. So they've taken that as well. What else was I going to mention? You mentioned End of the Fucking World.
Yeah.
It's for me it's too similar. And I don't feel as engaged in the main characters as much as what I am with End of the Fucking World.
Yeah, there's something to do with the characters, isn't there? There's definitely something with End of the Effing World. There's like a lot of kind of psychotic characters that you know are kind of just like twisted and broken in some way.
Yeah.
But they also use that kind of I loved what they did in End of the Effing World with the usage of music. Like it was in every scene, pretty much, right? But it was always something that was picked so carefully. And it actually, like, if you listen to the lyrics, would tell you what's happening in that scene if you couldn't see it. So with this, it's kind of disappointing because they've done that. They've gone, let's have something in it playing all the time, even if it's like a 30-second scene. You still got something playing in it, but at the same time, none of it feels as carefully mastered as that series.
I definitely agree, and I really have one massive complaint with that. Is I think it's in the last episode.
Yeah.
I think it's when. So, spoilers for anyone that's not watched it.
Spoiler
if you haven't watched it and you've seen a trailer or something for it, definitely go and give it a watch.
Yeah, no,
the episodes are they're only about 19 minutes long.
You have 8 episodes, all 20 minutes.
Yeah,
each.
so you can really
no time.
you can smash through this in a day if you really want to.
And it is quite bingeable, I'd say.
Yeah, you can just leave it on. And,
nothing on the Stranger, but it's bingeable.
Yeah, 100%. So, if we just skip quickly to the end of the episode, I'm not going to reveal anything, but when everyone's running out of the school, they played a certain song, and the certain song they played really fucked me off.
Why?
They played Killing Time. Now, that song, if you are a fan of the Netflix shows and you love binging the Netflix fucking shows, that song was used in 13 Reasons Why, and that was like Hannah Baker's song. Like that was her big thing. She played it in the background of some of her tapes. They used it so many different times.
But I'm just thinking it's not the one that was at the dance, is it? Because there's the
when all the kids are running out of the school. I'm about 90% sure.
Okay, so they really recycled some stuff.
When the kids are running out of the school, they use that Killing Time.
I think it's Echo and the Bunnymen.
It is Echo and the Bunnymen. Yeah, so they use that, and it really fucked me off because for me, 13 Reasons Why that fuck the other 2 seasons, but that first fucking season of 13 Reasons Why, it's got some real emotional heft to it. And
so
especially that one song,
Yeah.
if I hear that now, whether I hear it on the radio, hear it on a TV show, in a film, whatever, it will take me back to that TV show. And I know that sounds, you know, really stupid.
Yeah.
I'm almost 30 and I'm
totally
obsessing
agree.
about a certain song.
It was used so beautifully, wasn't it? It was like
they used it really, really well, and that was kind of, you know,
poignant.
Yeah, and you know, if she was a cage fighter, that would have been her entrance music. Do you know what I mean? That I link that song. So the Echo and the Bunnymen song to Hannah Baker, and I link it to that season, how good that season was, everything happened in it, and you know, all that real emotion, and they used it here, and it just fucking annoyed me.
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
as if like I've said, they've looked at these popular programs and they've been like, okay, what works with that? What works with that? What works with that?
True.
Oh, we put like 13 Reasons Why, didn't they? So, and they've just gone, let's just get their soundtrack. Let's put it in there.
Exactly. Imagine they might as well have had that Lord Huron song, which is in 13 Reasons Why with a woo, like
right at the end.
That
they
one,
could have had it. 100%.
Because that one is essential to that series, and it will always. That's my one for that series, 13 Reasons Why. But with this, I totally agree. It's like they got the memo, but they didn't like understand what it was that gives that series heart. Yeah. And it doesn't quite have it. I do want it to continue, and I do want to see if they can like get the people in to try and make that happen, because like I say, it's so nicely stylized, and it is a great setting to have these characters in. Let's talk about the characters, because I had a weird one with Stanley, because he's like this quirky guy, and he's wearing these weird shirts, and he's like, I don't know, I got this weird kind of hipster vibe from him, like his setting that he gives himself, like he's got this like record collection. He's kind of like a bit almost like mature for his age. Yeah, definitely. I just found it weird to watch, actually. I was kind of there like, this is me.
This is me all over.
Someone's just taken me and put me in his story. I can't take this. What do you think of the lead actress and the lead character?
Well, should we just quickly run through like?
Yeah, okay. Shall we give a synopsis?
Yeah, a bit of a plot. So, how do you start?
Okay, so we have a young. So she's kind of 15, awkward 15-year-old stage, 16, I think she says. So she is living in a very small sort of town outside of a kind of. I think it's like quite countryside. Like how would you describe the setting?
It's definitely like a rural part of America.
That's it. A very rural part of America. Small town. Nothing much is happening. Kind of a beat down vibe, run down vibe. Like the cars are kind of old. The houses themselves are kind of almost like log cabin vibes. Yeah. She has had a tragedy happen to her. So we're not too sure at the beginning what that is. I don't think. Oh no, she does say at the start, doesn't she? I think maybe first or second episode. So she kind of says like she's had a loss in the family, and she's struggling to deal with that. She's not getting on with her mum. She's got a younger brother, and she's just going through this kind of like, what's going on? Like how am I going to get out of this funk? It's been quite a long time since the tragedy happened. I think she says it's been a year or so. Yeah. And so she's just going through the motions a little bit, going to school, not enjoying school, feeling like a bit of a ghost. That was another thing, actually. 13 Reasons Why vibes of the kind of, I'm just your average girl walking through the corridor, everything's a blur around her. Like, we've seen it before, guys. We need something that's going to keep that fresh.
I need something that's a bit different.
Do it in a different way. Film it in a different way. There needs to be some change. Anyway, she is going through some kind of, I think you do see it in the trailer, so we can say. She's going through some kind of superhero change, which we've seen in so many other superhero films, where she's getting this sort of telekinesis ability, so she's able to suddenly kind of not control her anger in a Hulk-like way, and things happen around her. And then it's the kind of development of that, which I wanted to develop more.
Yeah,
I wanted to see more happen.
Yeah, see,
They need to stop with this kind of staggering everything. That was another thing that bugs me with it.
How do you mean?
So they've clearly gone like, we're gonna do like a very short part of this. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not like, there could be 10 series now following this for her to fully be like Neo and master her Matrix abilities, because it didn't get to anything. This is the thing. Spoiler alert. Sorry. I was doing so well at not spoiling it then. But she gets to a certain point at like 8th episode where you're like, okay, now we've seen that you still can't control your emotions and you can't control this power.
Well, they kind of hint at it. I think it's around season 3 or season 4. Her, well, not her boyfriend, but her friend Stanley. He hints at, to her that, have you had like a stranger appear to you to try and explain your powers? And she's like, no. And then obviously they do kind of hint at it.
He jokes at it, doesn't he? He says,
jokes at it.
Maybe I could be your mentor.
Yeah, he jokes about it, he hints at it, and then, they kind of play on that for the next few episodes.
But it doesn't
and then,
work.
It comes to a big crescendo in the last episode, but they don't really...
I mean, that's all that's happened, actually.
This is what I mean. So this is what I meant about the whole thing of, I feel like they had a really small idea of something to do, and they haven't really developed it enough to kind of branch out into an actual series.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
The main thing as well that...
They've set it up. That's literally all they've done.
Yeah, one of the main things that really annoyed me is they got 2 really good young actors.
I was going to say, so you told me these guys are both from Stephen King's It.
Yeah, so they were both in It and It Chapter 2. Which got not so much Chapter 2, but the first one, everybody fucking adored it. Everybody loved that movie. I couldn't tell you a person that saw that movie and said, that was a bit shit.
Well, it was the way, even if, for me, not a fan of horror films in some way, like, that really blew me away.
But you would have
watchable.
Had... Yeah, but my point is, with it being a horror movie, is even so, you still had a lot of points of, there's a lot of camaraderie with a group of friends, and just, you could tell, you could see each of their individual stories, and I thought that was really, it was a really, really good
one. What you mean, yeah.
And it really sort of brought them all together. But yeah, so 2 of the 2 main characters in this...
that's where we recognise it.
Called? It's Not Okay.
I'm not okay with this.
I'm not okay.
Which also is not a very good name for a series, because I kept thinking, what is that called again?
Yeah, I just kind of labelled it as that again. Says to me, it's a bit the end of the fucking world.
You're right, dude. Let's just skip ahead a sec. Can we just say, what would you rate this series if you're just looking at these 8 episodes? You're not thinking about what's to come.
Give me 2 secs. I just want to have a last moment.
Go on.
So the 2 main characters are the 2 characters from
It. Yes.
And in It, they're fucking unbelievable.
They're great actors.
Really
well used.
Really, really good. The guy that plays Stan in this series, I'm pretty sure his character in It is also called Stanley, which is a bit weird.
That is weird.
Yeah. And he kind of plays your stereotypical Jewish young boy. he's so good in it, and he's got some real depth and stuff. And in this, I did think his performance at some points was all right.
I thought it was underused.
Like you said, he kind of plays a bit like a hipster. He's a bit older.
Fit in.
He's a bit older than than what he seems, and I thought he did all right. But I really think they didn't do very well with the main character, whatever her name is. She's
Elle. No, that's not it.
No. I don't know. I didn't connect with her.
I thought she did well, and I can't fault her performance, and I do like the way they've kind of made her so...
I just mean her character.
I mean her character, the way it was kind of refreshing to see someone who's so like completely non-glam, non-Hollywood, wearing just jumpers all the time, short hair. There's some very obvious things that you might assume about her that are clearly true quite quickly.
Yeah,
that definitely. Whole relationship bugged me. I thought that was kind of like...
What, the relationship with the boy or the relationship with the girl?
The girl.
Yeah, I thought that was way too obvious, way too quickly. I could have guessed that from the first 30 seconds.
Are we still supposed to be like, is she? Like, come on, it's so... I kept thinking after a while, series like episode 7, 8. I just like when she's danced with her. I was thinking, why are you doing this to her? You're leading her on.
Yeah. What did you make of the? Okay. So you asked me what would I rate it?
Yes.
And we go out of 10, don't we?
We do.
Am I rating the season on a whole?
Yeah.
See, it popped me right at the end. So.
Oh, so the last episode actually did get your attention. That's interesting.
Only for the literal popping. if you catch my drift.
Indeed, yeah. That was hilarious. You're wondering what's gonna happen. Again, dude, I don't know how into that was. Anyway,
I just thought it was hilarious. Like me personally, I was watching and I was like, well, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
She's gonna do something, and I was like,
oh Jesus Christ.
Didn't expect her to do that.
Wait for that, guys. Wait for episode 8 of this series, because it's building to it the entire time. Again, this is what they keep doing. You keep hearing someone. Who was it? They were referring to the fact that you're seeing it so often now is the fact that they're trying to mash it up, and that 500 Days of Summer kind of like. You see the end.
Oh, you're showing something.
Now you don't know how it's going to get there. And it's because we're seeing the same storyline dragged out over and over again.
But I think around about episode 4, when you're shown this girl running through the woods, and she's in a lightly coloured dress, but she's absolutely, her face is covered in blood. Her face is covered in blood, her dress is covered in blood, and she's obviously disturbed, and she's running away from something.
No, they did it in the trailer.
Yeah.
I was thinking it.
Okay, so you see that image of her running away in that dress so many times, and they're obviously leading up to the point that happens.
Yeah.
And I didn't care. You know, like take something like Breaking Bad.
Go on.
When you see something at the start of Breaking Bad, you see the opening 5 minutes, and take the first episode for example.
Yeah.
He stood there, in the middle of the desert. He's holding a gun. He's in his underwear and a shirt.
Yeah.
And he's waiting for these sirens to come out.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
How into it already are you? Yeah.
And then you get to that. You get to the actual proper start of the episode, and you see him, and he's a teacher, and he's a family man and stuff, and you're like, well, how the fuck does that get?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm intrigued. Whereas with this, she's running through the woods. She's got loads of blood on her clothes and stuff like that. And then I see her from the beginning. I'm like, I don't actually really care. And I was literally, for me, it was too obvious. It was too obvious whose blood it was. Yeah. From episode 1, episode 2.
Oh, did you think?
Straight.
True, actually.
And I knew, and I already guessed the relationship.
There was no
friend.
There wasn't really a twist in this film.
So I thought.
Felt like a film.
Yeah. So I thought most of it was a bit too obvious. I think it's a bit too much like most other Netflix shows that I've seen.
Yeah.
I feel like it's copying too many things. Are they running out of ideas? It didn't really feel like a proper fleshed out idea.
Yeah.
So.
Not good then.
No, I'm probably going to go for like a 4 out of 10. Like it really wasn't great.
I think I'm on the slight revert. I'm not on like a. You did well. Now we're talking. Honestly, dude, it's kind of giving me a second look at it.
I would have, to be honest, before I just said all of that stuff, I would have rated it higher. And then I actually thought about it, and I was like, no, you know what? It's not actually that good.
I was thinking maybe a 6, something like that. Yeah, either way, dude, we're clearly not very enthused by it. When I was watching it, I was very into it. Do you know what I mean? But it was because I think there was nothing I'd seen like that for a while, and it does give you the kind of I can't wait to watch this. It's like Stranger Things, something like that. But
no, I didn't really have that connection with me.
Now you can see why they would make more and more of the things that we do keep going back to, like 30 Reasons Why and Stranger Things. It's because they hit that note with the audience.
Yeah.
And they're
definitely.
They're going to use that, aren't they? But this one, I hope they make more. I do hope they make more, and I hope they get someone like I said, get someone in that's going to like really nurture that vision that someone's had.
I just feel like there's too many things like it. We've hit the nail on the head, really. Stranger Things, 13 Reasons Why. You could even include Umbrella Academy if you really wanted to. Did you ever see that?
Of course, yeah.
So you had Umbrella Academy. That's the people.
Also, it reminds me of like just throwbacks to Spider-Man, things like that. Like just any superhero thing. Like you're getting the Hulk, the anger issue.
It's just I just think it was.
her tantrums were boring me by the end. Her
I just think it was a bit
boring.
too plain, and to be honest, I probably would have said 3 out of 10.
Wow.
If it wasn't for the last episode and the actual literal popping.
Well, we've slated this completely. Let us know what you think, guys.
Honestly, if you haven't seen it, give it a watch. It is really, really short. You'll be able to get through it in an afternoon.
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of share your thoughts.
Dude,
What's your
I
out
have
of
the
10 on it?
perfect thing to come straight into from this, because I went straight into... Did you ever see The Fault in Our Stars? Cheesy American film with the guy that played Baby Driver in it?
Yeah, and Girl with Tube Up Her Nose.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, sob film, it's such a... you know you're going to be going in there expecting it to be quite emotionally heavy. You can see that it's very similar to that. This one is called, it's just arrived on Netflix. I think it did get produced this year, so I think it must be a straight to Netflix film. But it's called All the Bright Places. Have you seen it advertised?
Yeah, I think I've seen it pop up on my Netflix account.
The reason I think I went in with this was because it had someone who I've seen. I think he's in Black Panther, and he's in... Did you ever see The Get Down on Netflix?
No.
Dude, gotta watch that. That was so good.
Do I?
Yeah, The Get Down was Netflix original again, and it... Nathan's miming, I don't have a clue what it's on. It was about 5... What would you call them? It's really hard to say. They were brought up in the Bronx, and they were doing this whole rapping thing. So they're coming up in the 80s with Grandmaster Flash training them to be rappers, and they're all kind of getting these. They're getting more and more in sync together and coming up through a really harsh way of living. It came out in 2 parts, that series. It was a really interesting way of doing it because they were both quite short, but they were long episodes.
I'm not going to lie, I'm already bored by the prospect of this. I'm not going to watch it.
Please have a look at it, because the styling of it again was so well done. Anyway, so the guy's name is Justice Smith. That literally the most Hollywood name you've ever heard. Justice Smith. Starring Justice Smith. He's
Any relation to Will?
I don't think so. He's incredible, honestly. Dude, the guy has really got something. I think he'll go a long way. I've seen him in a few things, and he's just one of those actors you can tell.
So
he's
what's
captivating.
that? Are we talking about the Bright Places? Or
He is in All the Bright Places. What they've done this time is very cliche. It reminds you of so many things you've seen before, and it's definitely the sister film of All the Fault in Our Stars, because it's a girl at the beginning of the film who is about to throw herself off a bridge, and he comes and sees her, and he is then playing this kind of, that manic pixie dream girl kind of character that isn't in 500 Days of Summer or Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah.
He's playing that. They've just role reversed it. They've just kind of made him a little bit quirky, but he's kind of picking her up when she's in this bad state and being all I'm gonna get your mojo back for you a little bit, and taking her out these nice places. They have to visit loads of places for a school project, which I don't really understand still why that was a school project, if I'm honest, and how they were able to
visit some places.
Visit original places that show off their state in the best way possible. So you do get some really lovely scenes. They visit the tree where you throw everyone's shoes up in it. I don't know what that is. Then there's the one. There's someone's built a roller coaster in his back garden. It's the world's smallest roller coaster. Go and see that. It's just so cliche. The whole film, I kept thinking, please tell me it's not as flat and boring as it's going to be, and it was. It really was. I stuck with it, hoping that there'll be something that really moves me. They're running out of ideas. It becomes so apparent to me now, because there's great moments in films where they're able to make a scene very poignant by having a famous quote.
Yeah.
In this, they've literally just taken that and been obvious with it. So Justice Smith's character is this guy who has had some really horrible stuff happen with his dad in the past. It's kind of of course, he literally is someone that puts post-its on his walls of famous quotes to get him through. And then he, like, when he first, there's that first interaction with him and the suicidal girl, who he's kind of intrigued by because she's so deep.
What does he do? Does he give her an inspirational post?
And he gives her some quotes, and then the first conversation they have is like on their version of MSN, makes me feel about 30. But yeah, they're messaging back and forth their favourite quotes.
Oh my god.
You're like, you've really taken this in like the most obvious direction you possibly could.
Wow.
There's also the fact that you just see his character running, and it's like it's just him running, and you kind of go, you're gonna do something with that later, aren't you? Oh, he's running away from something, his past, right? And then you get further into the film, and I can't remember how it was in All the Fault in Our Stars, but it was very similar, I think, because she's got cancer and he's kind of cheering her up, right? Do you remember much of it?
Yeah, he meets her. Doesn't he meet her in a group or something? Because he used to have cancer and he's a survivor.
Yes, that was
it.
it.
He goes to these meetings and speaks to people, and like they all kind of chat about their disease and stuff like that. And she's got this like thing. She's gonna die from it.
Yeah.
And
wasn't it?
Yeah, and then they interact quite a few times. He kind of tells her to stop being so. My kind of take on it is
Don't be such a pussy.
No, don't be such a pussy, but like you're gonna die anyway. Like you may as well fucking live a little.
Yeah.
Like, I think he smokes and stuff like that.
That was it, and she's like, oh, okay.
She's like, oh, I can't do that, and he's just like, well, you're gonna fucking die anyway. You may as well.
He's the same character. He really is. It's very much like, look what living can be like. It's like, and there's so many scenes where he's just kind of encouraging her to do something and daring her that little bit. I can't remember in All in the Fault in Our Stars. The Fault in Our Stars.
I hope he doesn't encourage her to bungee jump or anything like
I
that.
was
She's
really-
trying to jump off. She's trying to jump off a bridge. Oh yeah, just do a bungee jump.
So that's what actually. So he literally does kind of a similar thing. He literally, as I was thinking, what would I do in that situation? I think I'll get up there with them and try and make it seem like it's less of a thing as it is. He does exactly that. He just goes, "Look at what I can do." She's like, "Stop! Get down!" And then that's their kind of interaction. And just fucking leave, she said. The only thing I was thinking, I feel like that guy in The Fault in Our Stars has some kind of trauma that you slowly become aware of. And then she realised, oh, this guy's actually like kind of sad as well, even though he.
Oh no! Wait, isn't the big thing that he dies? Yeah, that's the big thing.
Okay,
that's
spoiler, guys. Spoiler. I'm so sorry, but yeah, this is exactly the same film. This film is the same film as that film.
What? So in the end, you find out he's been living with something the whole time,
yes,
and then he dies.
And he dies, and dude, it's so like gut wrenching, but so kind of like I was rolling my eyes to the back of my head.
Do you like the fact that I guessed the ending?
Yeah, literally. So he just like slowly becomes more and more of like this upset character, and the thing is, dude, it's going really well. There's not really like, this is the thing in that relationship.
Yeah.
He's buttered her up. He's taken her out, and now she's in love with him, and then he just can't hack things anymore.
What he
just like he disappears for a bit, comes back, everything's fine. She learns, oh, he's got some scars on his ribs. Did your dad do that? You've learned more about him. You're slowly. This guy isn't that happy, but you never thought he was happy. And then finally, the end scene is, oh, guess what? He's literally gone to one of the old places they went to together and drowned himself. And then there's a funeral scene, and then it's the end. It's like,
Jesus.
Did you just take the exact same story other than take the cancer out? Like, there's just not the cancer factor in this. It's a very heavy film, and then it says the whole 13 Reasons Why. This film is dedicated to anyone with mental illness and suicide problems. Please visit the website.
I'm not.
How cliche.
I don't want to talk about this movie.
How cliche, right?
It sounds like it's really
They
going
have
on with me.
completely ran out of ideas. Because, like we were saying with all the other stuff we just mentioned, how similar does that sound?
Yeah.
The soundtrack.
I'm not keen. So definitely don't bother giving that a watch.
Yeah, I'll give this movie a 3. Yeah.
That's our lowest score yet.
This is the thing, though. The thing is, people will disagree with us. I know you will, guys, because you might not have seen the other films. And if you haven't, they're just hoping. I guess that's the only person that they're hoping is gonna enjoy their film.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen something like that, there's like scenes where they just stop the car, get out, and just dance. Because, and she's talking over it in that voiceover, because you gotta realise that sometimes you just gotta let go. And like, all that stuff, and like, my dad came in at that point and went, the thing is, people don't actually do that, do they?
No.
Like, just get out and dance for a bit. Oh dear.
Mr. Stanley's right. They do not.
Mr. Stanley.
Okay, I really feel like after this, we've had quite a negative half hour or so. We really need to bring some positivity back to the fold.
Have you got something for me?
I've got something. So
I also have one thing. Okay, go.
I recently went to go watch the brand new movie, Pew Pew Pew, The Invisible Man.
Ah, this is the one with the Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, so
What's her name?
the actress's name is Elizabeth Moss.
Elizabeth Moss.
She has been in such things as
Mad Men.
And Mad Men, yeah, that's pretty much it. So she's, you know, if you've seen her before, like, you know she's quite a good actress anyway.
Yeah.
But
She was great in Mad Men.
Okay, I'll give you a little synopsis on the movie. I'll give you a bit of background,
and
then I'll really kind of give my sort of 2 cents review on it.
Okay.
So, okay. So movie starts. This girl's trying to escape this house. She lives there. She's drugged her husband. Yeah, it's her husband. She's drugged her husband with diazepam. That does sort of come back. Remember, I said diazepam.
Right. Okay.
So she drugs him with diazepam to make him sleepy. He's asleep in the bed. She's already got her things sort of sorted around the house where she needs them. So she's got spare clothes somewhere.
Oh.
She's hidden stuff, you know, around the house because she knows that she needs to escape.
Very planned, thought through.
So very planned, very thought through. And the whole time she's watching on her phone a video camera which is linked up to the surveillance in the house.
Okay.
So this guy is basically an optics, electronics. I don't know, dude. He's
He
basically
looks like cameras. No.
He's got fuckloads of money, and he's really, really good with technology.
Right.
So, you know, he's got this massive company basically.
Oh,
so he's really.
He's the CEO of the company.
Yeah, he's the CEO of this really.
He sells cameras.
No, I don't think they just sell cameras, but they do loads of stuff with technology.
Right. Okay.
So he's really, you know,
security and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's really, really clever in that regard. She's trying to escape. You know, there's obviously some reason that she wants to. Really, really tense opening scene. Really tense.
Ooh.
Of her trying to escape the house.
Nice.
She gets to the garage or something like that, and then the car alarm goes off because their dog makes the car alarm go off, and she's like, oh shit. And then you see her go up to the dog, and she takes off this like meaty dog collar, which is, I think it's meant to be like a shocker or something.
Oh, one of them, yeah.
So it's one of those really, really bad dog collars.
Horrible.
As soon as she takes the dog collar off, the dog legs it because obviously the dog
It's been trapped.
has been trapped in this house the whole time.
God.
So she goes off, and to escape, she's got to climb this really, really high wall. Like the house is the house is on a hill right by the seaside, and it's got this massive wall like around it. It's like she's in prison basically.
Really nice house.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she escapes over the wall. You know, she's running through the woods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So really, really tense opening scene, and then she finally gets picked up by a friend or her sister. I think it's her sister. The guy is finally chasing after her.
Oh shit.
And he's
woken up.
Yeah, he's woken up, smashes through the car window. He's like, fucking get back in.
Jesus.
Fucking going anywhere. Grabbing her, trying to pull her through
This
the
is a
car.
horror film, isn't it? Yeah.
And then they speed off.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, she's left something there. She's left a bottle of diazepam, which is the thing that she drugged him with.
She drugged him with, yeah.
So she leaves the bottle there. He picks it up, and you see his bloody fingerprint go onto the bottle. Because obviously in America, medicine bottles are the orange bottle with the white label.
Yes.
And obviously he's just smashed through the car window, so he picks up the bottle. He leaves his bloody fingerprint on the bottle.
Right.
I know this seems really irrelevant. I'm sort of really talking about
very
this.
detailed.
Very detailed about that. but it will become apparent later on.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of your grand opening. So this girl was obviously, she's going through some shit. So this guy seems like a fuck nugget, but he's clearly got loads of money.
Yeah.
And she's trying to run away. She goes to stay with her friends for a bit, and then they kind of do like a whole 2 weeks later.
Right. Okay.
And the whole time that this has been that she's been staying at her friend's house, she's not wanted to leave the house because she's too scared.
Okay.
She doesn't want anyone knowing where she is. She's told her sister not to come and see her because she doesn't want the sister. She thinks that the man's gonna, her husband's gonna phone the sister,
yeah,
and track her down and stuff. So she's tried to completely be
off the grid.
Off the grid. She doesn't want him knowing where she is.
Right.
The sister comes to see her and she says, "Look, you don't have to worry about this shit anymore. He's dead. He killed himself."
Okay.
And she's straight away. She's like,
No chance.
He wouldn't do that.
He would
never do that. I think there's a funeral or something like that, or maybe I'm making that up. I don't think there is a funeral. I can't really remember.
Maybe I think of the aforementioned funeral.
Yeah, and then so she's all happy now that this guy is dead, or so she thinks, and then she gets summoned. So she gets a real ominous white envelope with no name, no stamp, no nothing on it.
Oh shit! What is it, like a cult?
No, it's just a letter. So she opens the letter, and she's been invited to go to a, what they called, a will hearing or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he, obviously because he's died, and
a will reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's died, and she was probably his next of kin or whatever.
Yes.
She's been invited to go there to see what shit she gets off him now that he's dead.
Yeah.
So she goes there, and he leaves her, I think it's like $5 million or something like that.
Damn. This guy was really rich.
To be paid to her in instalments every month of $100,000. So she gets $100,000 every month.
Jealous.
And the only so in the lawyer reads it out, and he says the only way that this, the only thing you have to do to make sure you keep getting this money, don't commit a crime, and don't get sent to prison, and basically just be a normal person, and you're fine.
Be good.
Does that make sense?
Does, yeah.
Cool. And then you find out also in that meeting that the lawyer is the dead guy's brother.
Ooh.
And he makes a couple of snide.
Yeah,
he makes a couple of snide remarks to Elizabeth Moss's character, and he kind of points over to a box and he says, "Oh, my brother's there. Like, there's a box of ashes just there. That's where he is."
Like very literally.
Yeah, and then so obviously by the title, The Invisible Man, some fucking mad shit is going down.
Okay, right.
So after all that kind of stuff, and she's starting to sort of get her life back on track, and she's trying to actually be happy again. Weird shit starts happening. An email gets sent to her sister that she didn't send, saying that I don't love you anymore, don't contact me, I hate you, fuck off basically. And then they have a massive argument.
Does the sister just go,
why the fuck are you here? Like, she goes to see her sister, and the sister's like, why the fuck are you here? You sent me this email.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So they have a massive falling out, and basically he's systematically trying to.
I see. So he had killed himself, right? He actually had. Ah, shit! I skipped ahead. Sorry.
Come on, mate.
All right.
Okay, so the next sort of, so I've probably just explained the opening half an hour or so of the movie.
Okay, right.
The next hour is her being absolutely tortured by a ghost.
Tortured, because like with the same kind of thing, like
not
emotional blackmail,
so
hazing almost.
Yeah, hazing. So an email gets sent. She feels like someone's following her. There's a really, really cool scene that I really like where she hears noises in the house and stuff, and then she goes outside.
Yeah.
And it is set in the winter. She goes outside.
Yeah.
Just to kind of have a look around, and you can see that she's heavy breathing, and you can see the what's that called? Condensation.
Yeah.
Is it?
Steam.
Whatever. So you can see her breath in the air.
Yeah.
And then she turns around and walks to go inside, and then you see a puff of air where she was just standing.
That's nice. That's a good horror film.
You see a puff of air where she was just standing, but she doesn't see it. So yeah, a few things like that happen. She gets chased around the house and stuff. one really really good scene. So the friend that she's living with, is a cop, and he's also got a daughter, and she's like 16 or so.
Okay.
And there's this one really really good scene where she's like at her wit's end. Elizabeth Moss. She's like, I'm going absolutely crazy. No one believes me. Like, I know that he's not dead. He's found a way to turn himself invisible.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how fucking ridiculous she sounds, but she's telling everyone. She's telling her sister. She's telling her friends. She's telling. She goes to see like a psychiatrist or something like that, and she's like, "Look, this guy's invisible," and
even that therapist is probably there going,
yeah, and there's this really really good scene where she's like just on the floor in her house, and she's crying. She's curled up in a ball, and the young girl goes to see her, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Like, let's have a nice girly time and stuff like that." And out of nowhere, she just gets slapped round the face. She either gets slapped, she either gets backhanded, slapped, or punched round the face.
Wow.
And the only other person in the room is this woman,
Elizabeth Moss.
Yeah, Elizabeth Moss. And the girl's there like, you just hit me, even though she's a good 5 feet away from her. She's like, you just hit me.
Like,
no, I didn't. How?
You idiot.
And then obviously the cop comes in, and so the man is now, he's taken the sister out of the picture. So the sister's not in this girl's life anymore.
Right.
And now he's just taken the people that she lives with away from her.
Oh no.
So she's by herself.
Isolated.
So those two people leave. She then kind of coaxes him out. She's like, "Come on, fuck you, like, let's have it out now."
Yes, yeah,
like,
come at me.
Literally, I've had it up to here.
Come at me, bruh.
She finds in the attic. She finds like his mobile phone. She finds a knife that's in an evidence bag. So it's obviously the knife that he used to kill himself with, supposedly. And she finds something else. Oh, she finds like some drawings that were sort of taken from her, blah blah blah.
Okay.
And yeah, so she finds all of these things, and then there's this really really good scene where she's up in the attic and she finds all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then she can hear some sort of footsteps and stuff, so she slowly makes her way back to where the ladder is in the attic. And then there's a big jump scare, and she throws paint on top of whatever she thinks is there, and you see that it's really scary to start with. You just see this kind of nothingness, but you can see there's something there.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Well, like a figure of a person.
Yeah, you see like a figure of something.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like a person because it's got no ears or something. It's just like a head and a body, and she's just thrown paint on it. And it's a big jump scare, and then it kind of runs off. But yeah, there's loads and loads of jump scares in this movie. But yeah, the next kind of hour or so is just spent with her trying to figure out what the fuck's going on.
Right.
And obviously, she slowly takes her descent into madness, which this actress Elizabeth Moss, she does it really well.
Yeah.
She plays crazy, like she's so good.
I actually really want to see it. Yeah, just for her.
I've really enjoyed it. There's a scene where she, everyone knows that she's absolutely mental, so she ends up getting taken.
God.
There's a couple of things that happen, but I don't want to tell you what happens if you are going to see the movie because it's a big spoiler.
Okay.
Something happens.
Yeah.
And so she ends up getting taken to like a psychiatric unit, and she's just there, and she looks so dishevelled.
Yeah.
She's got greasy hair. She's wearing these beige, like a beige sort of sweatsuit thing, and she just looks so dishevelled and just so there's nothing
going on.
Nothing
there.
there.
Yeah.
Like, and it's really she plays it really really well, and then there's a couple of things that happen. I can't really divulge too much.
Oh man, okay.
There's quite a few things that happen in the last sort of half hour, 45 minutes that are really really sort of big catalyst for the ending, basically. For the plot. Ending's really really good. I've really enjoyed it, and her husband or her boyfriend in the movie, I can't remember the actor's name, but the character's name is Griffin.
Right.
He plays, when you meet him, he's a fucking bastard.
Really?
there's a scene between the two of them.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that he's such a bastard is
like
because
a flashback or something. Or...
the whole movie.
Yeah.
You're made to believe that he's this utter dickhead.
Yeah.
And she's just this nice girl that's been taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
And when these two have a scene together, you're like, you feel for him. I was actually at one point I was like, I actually feel a bit sorry for him.
Yeah.
Like, and
flips it on its head a little bit.
Yeah, flips it on its head. But it's honestly, you have to go watch this movie. I really rated it. I was so happy. So my big thing with it was it was directed. I believe it was co-written or something. So it's obviously it's a remake. The movie came out in, I think it's like the 30s, 40s, 50s, something like that. It came out a long time ago. And the original sort of book that it's based on was by H.G. Wells.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of kind of previous of this thing. Yeah. Of the Invisible Man, and it's really great. The director and the guy that wrote it, or kind of wrote the screenplay for it, is one of the guys that had a hand in the first Saw movie, Leigh Whannell. Nice. Now, Leigh Whannell and James Wan were two really big names, sort of like 90s. 15 years ago. Right. Yeah. When Saw first came out. Yeah. They were the guys that did it. They were
started that slasher.
Yeah. They started that whole kind of low budget horror movie. This is what we can do for such a low budget. Yeah. Leigh Whannell's not really done that great. Like James Wan. If you say to a horror fan now, everyone James Wan, Insidious, that kind of stuff. Like everyone knows who he is now. Yeah. But Leigh Whannell's kind of not had the same. Not had the same effect. But he's brilliant. Like,
he did it.
The script for this was pretty tight. I'd say there's not really a lot of scenes where I'm a bit like, I think the action in it is pretty great. Like how you can get, one person sort of selling a fight when you can only see that one person on screen is really great. Yeah. So I thought that went down really well. There's a couple of fight scenes where you've got an invisible person and a person.
So the CGI held up.
So the CGI, it looked really good.
Awesome. So go on, give us a rating.
I'm gonna go with an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Really good horror movie, and it's one of those as well where it closes off the story. But if you wanted to, you could go back to it. But if you leave it there, that's fine. It holds up.
Good.
Like there's no.
That's what you want. Isn't it?
There's no leaving you dangling.
Like with what we talked about earlier.
And the big thing with this was Universal wanted to do this whole big monster universe thing, and the start of that was meant to be that Mummy movie with Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah.
And they were meant to do like a Jekyll and Hyde movie, an Invisible Man movie, a Frankenstein movie, a vampire movie. I never knew that. Yeah, they wanted to do this big monster universe.
Cool.
Because they saw it as like a big. Idea. Exactly. It sounds like a cool idea. Did you ever watch The Mummy with Tom Cruise?
I didn't want to.
Awful. It was crap.
I thought
absolutely awful.
It looked it.
And it was a massive flop, so they had to garbage the idea.
Oh, everything.
But this Invisible Man film has kind of still stayed around. This film wasn't done by Universal, it was done by a different company, but the idea is obviously still there. Leigh Whannell, the guy from Saw, picked it up, and it's a brilliant movie. Nice. Go watch it, 100%.
I will do. A little ashamed that you didn't go and take me to this film. But yeah, I will definitely go and see it.
100%, you've got to go. Awesome. And you guys, go fucking watch this movie. The Invisible Man. It's only been out like, I think maybe a week, if that.
Well, I'm
go
sold.
See it.
I'm sold. I'm sure everyone else will be. I was going to mention downsizing a little bit. I think we'll save that for next time. There's no rush.
That's been out for
It's been out for ages, but we'll get into it. Maybe we'll watch it at some point. But yes, I think, is that everything we had to go through?
Let's call it a wrap.
Let's call it a wrap. Lovely review there at the end. Yeah, happy with that.
Awesome.
Cool. Alright guys, well thanks for tuning in.
See you
next time for Call Me Intrigued. Bye.